that popping of Viagra or Cialis was harmless, beloved. They told you that a little blue pill would fix everything, right? GTD, get the draws, smash, done, confidence is back, right? But here's the thing. If a pill is the only thing that's holding your erection together, your body's warning light is on, beloveds, and you're taping over the dashboard. Understand this, fellas. Your erection is a report card, right? It's the physical manifestation of your whole life structure. Everything that you do, your daily choices, beloved. So if you're coming up short, it ain't the pill's fault, beloved. Your game is just weak. But what if I told you that for some men, those little pills could quietly be setting you up for a heart attack, beloved? What about a blood clot? Or even worse, today, beloveds, I'm exposing the real dangers of Viagra and Cialis and all that other generic BS, right? And showing you powerful natural ways to fix the real problem for good. Now, every week here is a hard week, beloveds, but my goal is to help you gain sovereignty over your body. That means everything from sleep, mood, energy, stress, and yes, of course, when it's time to ruffle some sheets, sex, beloveds. I want men to stop damaging their bodies, right? On this most basic level, Viagra and Cialis don't create masculinity, beloveds. They rent blood flow. They hold CNGMP, right? Which is silicate guanosine monophosphate. And that is a signaling molecule that plays a key role in controlling and regulating blood flow, right? Longer at that, so the smooth muscle relaxes and blood fills. But only if your system is already capable, right? So they don't fix endothelial damage, right? They don't fix insulin resistance. They don't fix sleep apnea, low testosterone, or a brain that's trained on novelty, right? The pipes are corroded or the software is fried. Pill is just a spotlight on a broken stage, beloveds. Band-aid erections are expensive lies. I'm going to repeat that one more again. Band-aid erections are expensive lies. So you might feel back, right? You might feel like you're in your bag or whatever, right? But you're not, beloveds. But when you feel that way, you stop listening while the real problems keep chewing on your arteries, right? Chewing on your nerves and your sleep. That's how men drift from it works sometimes to needing it and needing it more, beloveds, to wondering why your morning wood is gone and non-existent. Your confidence in the bedroom is razor thin, right? So they call this a confidence boost, right? I call it psychological dependency, right? Because listen, you take that pill enough times, beloved, and your brain starts to believe the lie. I cannot perform without the chemical crutch. You just outsource your power to a pharmaceutical company, beloveds. Congratulations. You essentially told your mind and your subconscious, my natural game is weak. That is a death sentence to your masculine esteem. But think about it, right? Let's picture this. A man of structure, right? He takes pride in the fact that his body is the engine fueled by his discipline, right? So you're telling me you're standing next to a beautiful woman in a club, beloveds, all dressed up, but she knows your performance is contingent on a tablet. That's not status, beloved. That's a borrowed erection. It's the ultimate telltale that your internal kingdom is collapsing. And here's the biggest issue of it all, rather the biggest loss of it all. You lose control, right? You now have a 2-hour window for performance dictated by a chemical half-life. So your time is no longer your own, beloved. Your intimacy is no longer random and spontaneous, right? That whole structure is gone, right? Replaced by a schedule, beloveds. This is life-changing information that we're covering today. So stay locked in, right? Like they may take this down because we're going against Big Pharma, beloveds. But you know how we do. We don't give a fin up, right? So for decades, beloved, we've been sold a lie. So let's just get right into it, right? Like they told us that erections were just about taking a shortcut, right? There's an easy fix, but here's the truth. Erectile dysfunction isn't the real problem, beloved. It's really like a warning sign, right? It's like an alarm bell, right? ED is usually the first sign of a serious issue. So whether that's, a blood vessel disease or some type of imbalance, whether it's, an endothelial cell dysfunction situation, meaning that the lining of your blood vessels is damaged, it could be a cry from help from your body, beloved. It's not something that you should just cover up by taking a fucking pill. I'm going to tell you exactly why that's important. Because anyone with hypertension or diabetes has blood vessel disease, right? So imagine pumping more water through rusted, leaky pipes. You get a temporary result, but the pipe underneath is still falling apart, beloveds. And then the water gets to you, it still has rust in it. Now, blood clots, right, and heart rest. Let's talk about it. So there have been studies that have found that men with damaged blood vessels, Viagra makes the platelet sticky, leading to a higher blood clot risk, right? So what the fuck does that mean in plain English, right? It means if your pipes are cracked, beloveds, and you make that blood stickier, right? More thicker, right? You're asking for a clog, and that could eventually lead to a heart attack or a stroke. Now, to play devil's advocate, beloveds, because I'm fair and final, right? Let's talk about the do's and don'ts, right? So what does Viagra and Cialis do, right? So they are PDE5 inhibitors, right? So they block that enzyme that breaks down CGMP, right? So that smooth muscle in the penis stays relaxed a little bit longer, right? Relaxed muscles equals arteries open a little bit more, blood fills, the veins pinch off, and your erection holds firm, right? But understand this, they do nothing without arousal. So you still need nitric oxide released from the nerves or your endothelium cells, right? So no spark, no signal, no rise, pill or not, beloveds. But let's get back to the other side. What they don't do, they don't fix the pipes, beloved. So you have endothelial cell damage, you got to fix that, beloveds. They don't raise testosterone or repair nerve injury, right? They don't cure sleep apnea or hypertension or insulin resistance, right? These are the real thieves of your morning wood, right? That's stopping you from putting your girl eye out in the morning. So let's think about it like this. Replace context, attraction, or foreplay, right? Like think about it from that standpoint. When you're trying to get in the mood, when you in that zone and you're trying to, turn yourself on, turn your lady on or whatever, Viagra Cialis don't do that, beloveds, right? Like they facilitate flow, right? So they manufacture, flow, so to speak, but that chemistry, that oxytocin, like that bonding hormone, that's something that they just don't do, right? And they damn sure don't cure a porn-trained mind, right? Performance anxiety or relationship stress, right? So these pills amplify a pathway, right? But they don't create one, right? So if the tissue is compromised, you're spotlighting a broken stage, beloved. If a pill is the only bridge between you and performance, you're not winning, beloveds. You're losing. You're stalling, right? It feels like a fix because blood flow shows up on command. But that's an illusion, beloveds. Pipeline that matters, endothelium cells, right? Like nerves, hormones, breath work, right? That hasn't been audited, right? So you get tonight, right? And you lose the message your body tried to send you, right? What most men don't know is that ED is the first knock from cardiovascular trouble. So smaller arteries in the penis stop working for the big highway to your heart does, right? So when you silence that knock with a blue pill, beloveds, with Viagra and Cialis, you don't fix anything. You just turn the music up on a smoke alarm, right? And even worse, you start behaving like everything is fine. You walk around this motherfucker like everything is fine and dandy, beloveds. You drink more because Cialis will cover it, right? You skimp out on sleep because I got a booster, right? You stop going to the gym and stop training because your little blue pill still works. That's how men slide from a helpful assist to a mandatory crutch. Not because the drug broke them, beloveds, but because they outsource responsibility and they decondition the system, beloveds, that creates erections in the first place, right? And there's also a mental tax that you pay as well, right? So you start to become codependent. You start thinking like, damn, did I take it? I don't know. I can't remember, right? And then boom, right? Your arousal is chained to a capsule, right? So no pill, you get to panicking. Panic equals anti-erection, right? You just install performance anxiety as a ritual, beloveds. Congratulations. You are now a drug addict. That's right, I said it. Cialis, Viagra, honey pack, they're all fucking drugs, beloved. They're all drugs. All of them. And so erections, I like to classify erections as a skill of tissue, right? So endothelium, right? Your nerves, your pelvic floor, right? Like outsource the job long enough, you stop stimulating the pathways that keep morning wood consistent, right? So less spontaneous flow equals more reliance the next time. That's the spiral, right? So you drink more, you sleep less, right? You stop going to the gym, you lift less, right? Because you believe a pill will bail you out when it's time to GTD. You swap health capacity for event performance, beloved. the bill arrives as a softer body, right? So you realize like your composition it's not what it used to be. Testosterone gets lower, right? You even start to get like a shorter fuse. Now listen closely, beloveds, because if you're on this list of what I'm about to say, your priorities are messed up, right? And your life is on a path of least resistance, right? 2, erectile dysfunction are the ones who have accepted this as a lifestyle. So I'm talking about men with, diabetes, right? If you can't control what goes in your mouth, beloveds, pause that. You can't control the flow to your penis. High sugar is literally rusting the pipes in your body, destroying the lining of your blood vessels, beloved. You're trading a donut, energy drinks, red meat, Don Julio, right, etc., etc., for the ability to perform. That is elementary thinking, beloveds. And then hypertension. We gotta talk about this. We talked about it earlier. High blood pressure is a physical sign of unmanaged stress and lack of internal peace, beloveds. You're putting too much pressure on the system, which means your arteries are getting hard and they're getting weak, right? Your blood flow is being choked. You have a discipline deficiency in your life, beloveds, and your body is charging you interest. Now we got to talk about this because this is something that can be controlled and fixed, but y'all don't want to control it and fix it. Obesity, right? So if you're carrying too much weight, you got an imbalance of hormones, and you really got some gut issues too. But for the purpose of this video, we're going to keep it on hormones, right? So you have an imbalance of hormones, and that's a fact. Your body is screaming, I have no structure. Excess weight is a lack of control that directly impacts your testosterone and clogs your system. You can't expect to be a boss outside when you haven't mastered your own dinner plate, beloveds. That is one of the most controllable things in society, and it pisses me off when I see men walking around with these dad bars and these guts, knowing that all that shit pocketing up here is poison. But you know what? Continue to do y'all, because y'all don't listen anyway, right? And then smoking. This is another thing that's controllable, right? Smoking accelerates the destruction of your flow, beloveds. You're voluntarily putting toxins into the very system that's supposed to give you power and status. That's a man who has no respect and no class for his own blueprint, beloveds. You are self-sabotaging your own game. I don't know any other way to put it, beloveds. I really don't. But erectile dysfunction is a warning sign of systemic breakdown. It's your body telling you that your overall structure is falling, beloveds. And at Everybody's Juice, we are all about sovereignty and freedom of health. So we do things the natural way, beloveds. Anything related to intimacy and sex, I'm going to always and forever recommend Beetroot because it's high in nitrates. When a man of structure consumes those nitrates, his body doesn't waste them. Your saliva converts them into nitrite and then directly into pure, powerful nitric oxide. So think of it like natural blood doping, right? Like you're giving your blood vessels a power wash from the insides, the ultimate use it or lose it nutrient, right? It's what allows that clean blood to surge and to deliver the oxygen to where it needs to go. So whether you're in the gym, pumping iron, slamming weights, getting it in, or you're in the bedroom, beloveds, putting your woman through a mattress, either way, you're getting results, beloved. So this isn't just about an erection. This is about athletic performance, right? So if you're pushing big weight and your blood is flowing clean and hard, your stick is a byproduct of that power, beloved. It's elemental, beloveds. The world isn't a window. It's a mirror. What you see is what you are. You elevate yourself mentally and you start to see different things, beloved, right? You start to see things differently, right? So it's really that simple, but it's hard to grasp, right? And you could tell somebody it's raining, go get an umbrella, and they'll just be like, well, I'm fine, it'll bypass me. For some people, they just never gonna get the message, beloved. But whatever, let's get back on track. Let's talk about structure, right? Like nitric oxide. That's the real currency of a man's circulation, right? So low nitric oxide equals low flow. Low flow equals low power. You can't build a dynasty with a low power engine, beloveds. When you optimize flow, you optimize your hormones, right? A body that's pumping clean blood, that's fighting inflammation, right? With those nitrates from the beetroot that we just spoke about, is a body that supports testosterone production. This is why every man should be taking beetroot. This is the ultimate symbol of internal structure, beloveds. It's the dirtiest, most humble looking vegetable, right? But it has the nitrates that your body is desperate for, beloveds. This isn't just a vegetable. This is a chemical reaction. Power. It's a natural vasodilator. It widens the vessels, like the pill, but without the side effects to make your blood sticky and your vision blurry, right? And then also, let's talk about testosterone. So low T isn't just about low energy and feeling tired. It's about losing your drive, right? Like losing your big why, right? Like you fix your flow, beloveds, you reduce the chaos in your system, right? And your body naturally defaults to the state dominant man. Your health and your hardness becomes an earned reflection of your discipline, your daily choices, beloved, not a chemical illusion from a pharmacy. So ditch the elementary thinking, beloveds. Get the beetroot. You can click the link in our description to get it. Our website at everybodysjuice.com. Get the flow, beloveds. Better circulation. It doesn't just go to your penis, man. It goes to your brain. Makes you a sharper thinker, a sharper negotiator, a quicker thinker, right? Like a man who can execute his vision without mental or physical blockages, beloved. You want better testosterone? Testosterone follows the man who is healthy, who has low inflammation, who has optimal blood flow, right? You get the flow right, the T levels follow, beloved. The whole ecosystem of a high value man comes online. Listen, man, it's time to stop the fantasy, beloveds. You can hide the pill bottle, but you can't hide the truth from that woman that you laying down with every night, and you definitely can't hide it from your own body. Your erection, or lack thereof, is an audit of your entire life structure. And right now, the books are showing a deficit, beloveds. Your body is giving you a warning sign that's louder than any check engine light, and you're hitting the snooze button with the little blue pill. I told you the blueprint, beloveds. I gave you the structure, right? But a map is worthless if you don't take the first step. You need a baseline, beloveds. You need to know exactly how far you let the structure collapse. Every day you make a choice, right? You can chase fake status by trying to impress people with things, the watch, the car, the temporary fix. You can build real structure that makes you a formidable man, beloveds, from the inside out, without the dependency of a pill. Real power, real confidence, right? And a natural, undeniable hardness. That's what comes from doing the work, beloveds. So with that being said, man, hit the comments, subscribe. Fellas, I want you to get back to being a Brahma bull without the reliance of a blue pill. If this hit, subscribe, hit the bell, comment. That's my time. To the next time, beloveds. I'm out.